Next up on the clairvoyance list, we have Nero Caster. She is in a category of a monster. That monster being Caster. He can start from 0. He can use black rail and output way more damage than her when she's using a Buster Seed at MP5. I need to preface, like, I emphasize how good Caster is, but he's not a servant that shows those numbers without like a lot of investment. You get so much value out of Ku after you lower his skills. Like, if you don't lower his third skill and his first skill, you are not refunding right. It's not going to turn out well. If you don't have his append and his third skill leveled, you're not starting from 0. You need these things. Well, at least unless you're using Oberon, in which case it's kind of a non-factor. You really don't need the append at that point, and you only need like even just his third skill level. But Caster is a servant that like feels good when you invest in him. Nero Bride kind of doesn't have that thing, and there's one skill that is literally holding her back from showing more respectable damage. Because if you look at this chart here, she hits harder than him. She does hit harder than him. The issue is that Caster functions so ideally for the Buster system. His battery buff was made with Koyanskaya in mind. No one can convince me otherwise. Nero Bride needs a small buff, and then she will function so much better in this meta. Possibly even more than an MP buff. And I know that is like blasphemy, but I don't think this is gonna make up the difference. Unless it's a really, really good MP buff, and I'm talking like she gets a Buster up too, it's not gonna affect it. The skill buff though will greatly impact her. It will greatly affect how she Buster farms. So let's get started. Base attack 10.8k, a lot lower than I would like on a 5-star, and does not help that casters have a negative damage modifier. So Nero Caster is probably, if you're gonna use her for farming, you might want to consider railing. And it's not to fix her attack, it is to make the scaling of her own kit better. What do I mean by that? We'll see in a little bit. 13.6k HP. It's fine, and depending on the buff they give her, it might be better if it's like this low. Star weight, star gen are caster numbers. Caster showing up just a little bit higher, and so is star weight, but not by much. MP charge 0.4%. She has 6-hit arts cards, and she's a Buster servant with a 6-hit extra. I'm not gonna like harp on her for like lower hit counts when her arts cards are technically better than Gilgamesh and Tamamo, but she only has 2 of them. She does have double Buster though, so she can farm the Brave Chains, and her quick guard isn't bad either. Her hit count overall pretty good. You guys, I would say you guys are getting a sneak peek of the buff tier list, but I'm recording this before I do that recording, and that one will be on Twitch. First skill, 50% battery, and then if own HP is less than 50%, MP gen is increased for 3 turns by 50% as well. This would be really cool if it didn't have this restriction. And I think they need to play up this part of the kit a lot more. That's kind of the direction I would like to see them go with Nero. That if you're buster farming, this is a dead part of the skill. It's just a 50% battery. If you're doing a boss fight, which is something you would not do with Caster, that is Nero Bride's advantage over Caster, that you would bring her to a boss fight over Caster. Flat out. I would not like to protect a unit that has 3k HP the entire fight. And sometimes barely passable buffs, because her attack is way higher than Ku's. 20 levels higher, and her base attack is still a lot higher than Ku's. Second skill, 30% attack, 30% defense. Ignores defense class disadvantage against all classes. She is basically treated as like Mash. Mash doesn't take super effective damage at all. Yeah, she doesn't. She might actually do more damage against to Draco, if maybe. She is extra class. Ignores defense disadvantage is just nice for a boss fight. That doesn't matter in farming at all. Defense doesn't matter in farming at all. This is just nice shit. And this is on a 5 turn, so good. This is something that gets double stacked. Here is the big red flag with Nero's kit. 1 time 3 turn guts were revised with 1 HP. That's fine. 50% attack buff for 3 turns. This 80% attack in her own kit that could be double stacked, but it isn't. The only way this is double stacked is if you're using the same type of farming you'd use with BB, aka Atlas Mystic Code with Super Scope. That's not great damage. That's not great damage at all. She cannot double stack her own attack buff. That is Nero's weakness. She is missing out on stacking a 50% attack buff, meaning she scales extremely well if you grail her. That raise her base attack as high as you can, and you will see more return on the investment than other servants, because most other servants don't get attack buffs this high. Caster, he comes close. He double stacks 60, or he double stacks 30. Imagine if Nero could double stack 80. It would be the equivalent of what an Oberon does to a Black Rail, without even including his own buff. The way to fix this skill is to reduce the cooldown on this by 1. That's all you have to do. And then Nero, out of nowhere, literally starts competing with Caster and becomes a little more consistent. She'll have a better first turn than him, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, probably not a better first turn, but again, these numbers are so high. Like, you outside of like 90 plus, you're not gonna see like 100k HP enemies. And again, this is type neutral damage, so the chances of you running into a 200,000 HP enemy in turn 1 of any given node is so unlikely it's not even funny. Gives her time to ramp up. This number should be way higher, significantly higher, because you're adding another 50% attack. And I don't think they would just do a boring buff like that, just reduce the cooldown. I don't think so. I think they would give her the low HP meme, because specifically this is a 1 HP guts, not. So I don't know if they'd give her more damage, but give her something to like play into having low HP, because the first skill does that. Second skill does that too, where even at low HP, she's not gonna get blitzed down that quickly. She's gonna be like low HP, but she's gonna be doing okay. She's gonna be tanking a whole lot of hits. Fastest skills: riding B, 8% quick, territory creation A+, 11% arts buff, item construction odd EX, healing received up 10%. Yeah, that's a weird one. Anti-ruler damage, lol. Mana loading versus extra attack. It is really up to you. Mana loading would let her start from like the 30% CEs that you get in events, like the first copy. So would make it easier to start farming, like off the rip in an event. Extra attack, she's more catered to boss fights than Caster. It's like she can do farming, but you mostly bring her to fight a boss. So it really is up to you. MP, ignores invul, another reason you'd bring her to a boss fight over Caster. 5-hit AoE, damage to all enemies, increases MP damage for 1 turn, activates first. So she does get the buff from Oberon. So like she does have a lot of stuff that multiplies into each other. Matt's honestly not that bad. Yeah, these aren't things you have to like bend over backwards. It's not gonna take that long to get 8 pages in 8 Phoenix. Skills on the other hand, yeah, no, this is 24 seashells per skill, 15 pages per skill, 12 feathers per skill. Yeah, I can see the problem there. 44 proofs on the appends. Ouch. Quancy, Buster performance and MP gen while she's on the field. So she has this healing received, and I believe that's because she was intended to be used with Merlin. Now people don't really use Merlin that much because stalling with Buster is inefficient when you could just kill them till they're dead. Easy. So I would like it if they buffed this skill and gave her some kind of healing per turn. I think that would complete her kit if she had that. Yeah, like I think a good skill buff here would do a lot more for her than just buffing her MP. Because MP buff could be good. It could be very good. It could help her damage. But this would impact, like, this is a mana burst she is missing out on. A full mana burst that works with every single type of card she has. And that is like scales depending on her base stats. This is unlike servants that scale off just MP damage and Buster. This doesn't, leveling a servant up, like railing them, doesn't require MP copies besides getting the servant coins to be able to do it. Like an MP1, like 5-star at level 120, has the same attack as a MP5. There is no difference. MP damage scales with your MP copies. That's obvious. So the attack does too, but not as directly as MP damage. She has the advantage of like being a higher rarity servant and decent enough base attack. Would I like this to have been higher for her kit? Absolutely. But they're not going to. She... Should you summon for Nero Caster? It really depends on if you like Caster or not. If you don't like Caster, that low HP shit, I kinda get it. You don't want to like invest in a 3-star. I understand that. 2 is so good though that I can't really make a commitment to Nero Bride, like in the current age, without her getting a skill buff. Definitely not on NA. JP, if if she gets a skill buff soon, I will put it on the channel as quickly as possible. I might be away in Florida at the time, but once I get back, I will like address all the buffs and everything. But yeah, summer unit that needs a buff. What a surprise. And there's her only other competition is like Summer Woo and like Halloween Liz. And Halloween Liz is held back from being a 3-star farmer because of her guts too. I feel like Nero is more likely to have this reduced by 1 because the guts isn't that strong. It's not that strong. Attack buff, yeah, this is really strong, but at the same time, like, they have to realize, like, people are not summoning for this 5-star servant because this 3-star is too good. We need to make this 5-star better. It only makes sense from a business standpoint to make Nero Bride better than Caster in terms of like the total damage output she can go. It only makes sense. All right, that's it for me. I want to start streaming today as soon as possible. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.